We have a question here from Lisa. Lisa asks, "Hi, my question is, if the agenda of the power elite is to bankrupt their countries and perhaps are looking for any excuse, or will create an excuse, to impose martial law, for example, what is the best approach for the masses? I did not see any of these zombie movies, but I expect they use them to train and condition us to act if such an event should occur. I'm pretty sure they would want violence and rioting. So would we be best to plan a meeting spot, turn off our phones, bring water, food, blankets, and become responsible towards one another, etc.? In other words, ignore any instructions? Not all focus on evil. It seems to me if there are no paying jobs, then money is off the table and we would return to bartering. Just thinking about preparation, it feels like it is time to begin thinking for ourselves together."
Well, see, these are very fascinating questions, but they're really not my forte because, as I have said so many times before, my interest is more in the philosophical and the psychological component of this. All I will say is that I don't think government will push the American people that far, because for one very obvious reason. If they did, they'd lose, and they'd lose finally. So even though they are very belligerent and they like to bully, and believe me, these people are bullies, they know damn right that the military even is not to be trusted. The police are not to be trusted. And they'd be turned on, okay? Because there's a small group. This small federal group is extremely vulnerable. And there's no way that you could take down America. So it's all a tactic known as police yourself. It's this sheepdog mentality that David Icke has so beautifully pointed out. On a street level, on a local level, you'll certainly see the bullying, and you'll certainly see the orchestrated propaganda and these fifth columnists, right, enter into different groups to incite problems and all. But don't necessarily get worried about all of that. What you should be worried about is the fear that the media and all of this school generates, because that fear is the disabling aspect. If the federal system crashed, or even local state government crashed, it would be the best thing that ever happened. Man would have no problem whatsoever surviving. Do you understand that? No problem surviving. There'd be no problems at all. Everybody would have food, and you get on well enough. Because at the other end of the cycle, those who are shipping and selling the food, they need to continue, and if anything happened, there'd still be an ability to. In fact, there'd even be more ability. You see, because any kind of new people's government that got together would then be able to turn off the taps of the waste of the money. Yeah, and I'm not going to get into how that would be done, because it would cause so much controversy to these puppy-eared listeners that unfortunately are all over the internet, who can't understand this, what needs to be done in order to, because again, in any interim period, right, in any interim, whether that interim is traumatic or not, you need to keep the wheels of government, or the wheels of the system, going. And that's what people are afraid of. They're not afraid of getting rid of government, but they're wondering that how between a transition point, oh my God, it's going to be, complete Armageddon, which is why they keep showing you what? What has every movie been showing you, for the last 10 to 15 years since the Clinton administration, basically. And the up it is chaos. There's many reasons why they show you those movies, but one of them is to get you to be so pathologically afraid that if any radical change happens, you're going to be thinking in terms of black helicopters and, oh my God, mass arrests. Nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. They're lethally afraid to do that. Bullying, they're good at, but wholesale meltdown, why should they do that? The casino is working wonderfully. Everybody is in subservience. People are cowering with fear. The money is rolling in. Have you not seen the latest reports this week of how the Queen of England, she's earning more money than ever, and they're even going to give her a raise, and that all the rich across the world have just raised the wealth that they have earned by so much of a percent. I can't exactly remember the headlines. The rich are doing better now than they've ever done before. It is only the working class, and that's like when you shake a tray to let all the debris fall away. That's what happens every 10, 15 years. And this Obama just wants to do it even more because they want to shake off poor people. But you've got to understand that even if you you or your family ended up in tent city, it's actually a good thing. Because there's more camaraderie there. There's more getting back to roots there than there is in all this fakery that they've given us. Everything you own has been given to you by them. Now, this is deep. This is philosophical. But there was a story once told that an insider, a good man, but because he had insider to the Bilderberger meetings and he was able to get in, and then he leaked what he knew to the alternative research people, Alex Jones, I don't remember who exactly he was in contact with, but he was on a yacht after one of these Bilderberger meetings, and they were all drinking champagne and having a ball, and they were kind of relaxed. So he thought, this is my chance, and he asked the top people, these ambassadors and what have you, that were at the Bilderberger meeting. He goes, you guys are kind of arrogant, how do you keep the people in check, or whatever, and aren't you afraid of their uprising, or all this kind of thing? And the people said that he said, like, when you got here to the meeting, the car you drove, was it on 4 wheels with rubber? He went, yeah, well, of course it was. He goes, well, who do you think owned that rubber? He goes, by the way, in fact, this morning when you woke up, did you brush your teeth? He goes, yes. Well, he goes, yeah, what the plastic that toothbrush was made out of? Or the electricity that carried the telephone wires, the call you made to one of your relatives. Who do you think made that and owned that? So this Illuminati guy looked at this guy and said, we own you. Well, I don't resist that fact, because they're right, they do. It was the Knights Templars that built half the cities of Europe. Right? And it's no different anywhere else. So what you do is you say, right, right, right. In other words, the human race has never been given a chance to show who and what it is, and that is where we're at right now. We have the tools, but the strange thing about it is those tools are Uranian, Plutonian, right, Neptunian, and the dark side haven't a fucking clue what that's about, because they're not working with those. So we have tools that they can't even fathom. We've got emotions that they can't fathom. But we've never been given a chance. So that's why I've said another work. Look, if it means a little bit of libertarianism, it's fine. There's plenty of chairs. Sit down. I'm not necessarily wearing your t-shirt, but have a seat. You've got some great ideas. A little bit of the tribalism thing, okay. It's not my cup of tea, but bring your grass skirts and sit down and tell us how to work with the land, all right? We want a little bit of this, technology, the science, the people with the open mind of sciences, the Sheldrakes and whoever else. There you go. There's your place to sit. You want a bit of something else? You got this. Permaculture, whatever, there's room at the table of humanity for all the knights. There is no reason to be, dominating it, creating a new hegemony, right? The tyrant that crushes the tyrant's head becomes a tyrant, or the fist that crushes the tyrant's head becomes a tyrant in his stead. That's what we've been doing. That's what even some of the well-meaning groups today are doing. Because they're walking in their ignorance. They don't know either how this evil got to be. That's the first thing, so that you can then check in the modern context. Let's not repeat the same mistakes. Well, if you don't know what made evil evil, then how are you gonna police it out later on? How are you gonna know that the Judas is not again at the table, that the serpent hasn't again crept into the garden? You see. But we have abilities to overhaul and do things differently, right? And we have a huge library and backlog of great teachers, from Confucius to Sun Tzu to amazing people that I could mention. But again, a lot of these names would rub people up the wrong way, because we're still infantile, and we haven't learned this ability to be synthetic. We don't know how to take a great piece of work from a teacher, be it a Plato or whoever, without demonizing them or thinking, oh, this guy was bad. We're in a war zone. We need whatever we can. It's like Rambo when he's running away from the people and they've taken his clothes. What he does? He gets a sack. He cuts a hole in a sack. He puts it over and he gets a bit of rope and he ties it around him. He's off into the jungle. That's how you survive. That's how you survive. And if you haven't got a knife, you get a pointed stick. All right? This is the message to humanity. Actually, we can even do better than that. But it helps if you've learned from evil and if you've got a little bit of strategies in the side. And if this edifice ever fell, and we're in this interim moment, there's nothing to fear except those who are riddled with fear. All you have to fear is fear itself. All you have to fear is the ones who are nobbled, completely bat crazy because they're, oh my God, where's my coffee in the morning and where's my TV channels? What's happened? What's happened is you've just been liberated spiritually and physically. The door is wide open now. But as I've said so many times before, you can blow the gates off a prison and everyone will still sit in their cells. The gates are wide open and people don't move. This has happened. This has happened. So, it's a different kind of context there. But anyway, that's what I can say about that. There's other people who've done greater work on that, but I would always, come at it from the psychological point of view. And again, with a great deal of hope and a great deal of trust and faith in the human race. We have been our picture of one another, our picture of our neighbors, our picture of our capacities. Professor Tolkien beautifully decimates this in his work, showing that the little man, the little hobbit, is indeed, gets the admiration of warriors in the end. Okay, and we need to hold on to that image very strongly indeed, and have tremendous faith in the people to be able to build again, in the race, in the blood, to build again. Civilization has been built, and it can be done again. Have that faith in your ancestors. Have that faith in their blood, because it runs in your veins. And that, if you have faith in no one and nothing else in this world, it's running in your veins. The memories, the thoughts, the will, the future prescience, right? And ultimately the will to defeat evil that ran through generations of your own ancestors. So if you care nothing about the fate of other people, don't worry about it. Think of your own tribe. Think of your own people. And get suited up for it. Have no fear. Because the fearless man that we can look these people, these vermin, right in the face and say, I do not fear you. That is a weapon. That is the weapon. When you're so psychically strong and sovereign and immune spiritually, they shudder like cockroaches when they come across a person like that. That's the ultimate weapon in any kind of war that we're talking about.